Hello and welcome. My name is Chris Cann with Mining Journal and Mining Magazine, and with me I have SRK Senior Tailings Engineer Heather Thomson. Heather's team has recently developed a data visualization solution that shows different tailings dam scenarios and specifically how they could be affected by climate, and we're going to find out a little bit more about that today. Welcome, Heather.
Thanks, Chris.
Let's start with actually what it is and what it does, Heather.
Yeah, so the concept is very simple. We take a topographic survey of a mine and we've printed it with a 3D printer. And then we use a projector mounted vertically to project different data sets onto the surface. So our prototype is roughly A3 size. And so it's about a 1 in 10,000 scale model, but we can print them as big as we want. So you can project any sort of spatial data onto it. So you can, any static aerial imagery or infrastructure maps, contour plans, any like new waste dump layouts, tailings dam plans, anything like that. But the 4D component comes in when we add time. So because we're projecting with a projector, we can display videos. So temporally and spatially variable data. So what we've used at the moment to display is a dam breach. Is one of our examples. So you can see the progression of the tailings dam failing, and you can see the run out of the tailings into the topography over time. One of our other examples is flooding. So you see the flood, you see as the rainfall comes in, the flood wave builds and then it recedes, and you can see how that varies around the site. You can see the areas of the mine site which are expected to flood deeper and some that aren't, and some that recede quicker, and some where ponding stays, for example. Yeah.
How does that work with the different data sets that you're using? Is that your own modelling that you're using, or do you bring in third-party modelling depending on what the scenario is that you're trying to visualise?
So at the moment, it's my own modelling. It's the areas that I'm more interested in. But the intent is to show multidisciplinary data sets. So as we show it to more and more people, we're trying to encourage them to come up with their ideas. So people have said, oh, you could use this for emergency response planning. We can show our muster points on it. And you could show closure liabilities on it and all sorts of things. And that's what we want. And we want more of that.
Okay. And why did you do it? Obviously, it started somewhere. It sounds like a lot of work has gone into it. What gave you the concept in the first place, and what is the ultimate solution? Although there are a lot of different things that it could be used for, what were you really driving at when you developed the solution?
Well, it first came from have you seen those augmented reality sandboxes? Like the box of sand that they see at conferences where you play with the sand and the scanner automatically projects contours on it in real time. That's what we wanted to do. But we thought, let's make it something a bit more actually useful. So that's a great tool for teaching concepts of watersheds, topography, mapping and things. But we thought, how can we actually use it with our data sets and for our projects? So that's where this came from. And SRK has a mechanism for funding innovation. So if you have an idea, you take it to kind of like a Shark Tank thing internally, and you pitch your idea and you get funding for it. So that was our concept. And at first, we pitched it as a bit of fun, something we could take to conferences, something we could show off at events or in our office. But as it came to life, we've really seen how it can be a powerful tool for engagement and for visualizing data.
How do you see it actually changing the way we operate and the way that we, I guess, manage our tailings facilities initially, but then potentially how it would change design in the future?
Yeah, I think the key way we can use it is for meaningful engagement. So the global industry standard on tailings management was released a couple of years ago, and only one of the 7 principles, one of the 7 topics is around tailings design. All of the other topics are focused around community engagement, public disclosure, governance, management, all really important aspects of tailings management that were previously not necessarily enforced. So one of the key elements of the global standard is meaningful engagement. So that's meaningful engagement of all project stakeholders. So project affected communities, your operators, your regulators, emergency responders, everyone's involved. And I think when I work every day with contour maps, and I can see, I look at a contour map and that's what I see. I see it in 3D, but I think not everyone does. And when you see like a dam breach result printed on an A3 page of paper flat, it doesn't make a lot of sense to everyone. And when we show it in this way, everyone understands it, everyone gets it, it makes more sense, they can have meaningful outcomes out of it. And I think tools like this is what we need for meaningful engagement.
Okay, so it's engagement and communication of the future of tailings. It's the real power behind the solution. Definitely.
And not necessarily, I mean, not solely tailings as well. We could use it for anything. But yeah, I see a big gap that this can fill around tailings engagement.
Okay. What are the limitations at the moment, Heather? And then with those limitations, what are the opportunities to, like you say, expand it into different areas and applying it to different parts of the industry, potentially outside the industry as well?
Yeah, one of the next steps that we're working on as we speak is what we call puzzle pieces. So we acknowledge that a mine site isn't static. So your waste dump's growing, your pit's growing, your tailings dam is growing. You might have a new tailings dam pop up in a couple of years. So our 3D print is static. And the idea is we're going to print puzzle pieces, 3D puzzle pieces that can then fit on and you can take off to play with. So for example, you could, if you're going to build a new cell of your tailings dam, you could put that on the print and take it off and project different data and see how it works. Or same with the pit, you could take pit shells out as it's going to progress and see how that changes. That's the key one. There's another few little things we've got coming. So we're trying to make it a bit more portable, so easy to take to mine sites and make them a bit bigger, so a bit more friendly, user-friendly and things like that.
Heather, that's all we've got time for. Thanks so much for joining us.
Cheers, Chris.